Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Messy. This is Jamie.
And Christina.
We have a guest today. This was probably my first favorite reality star ever. Not a lie. Swear to God, she appeared over 10 years ago, again, as my favorite ever bachelorette. She is the host of the chart-topping Off the Vine podcast. She founded the wine label Spade and Sparrow. She won the Mirror Ball and Dancing with the Stars. And in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, I believe is now a beautiful role model of authenticity and vulnerability. She's a perfect fit here for Messy. Please welcome Kaitlyn Bristowe to the podcast.
Wow.
Yay.
I could cry because I'm such a fan of both of you. And I feel like we're already friends because I've fallen asleep to you both so many times, laughing and giggling and crying and all the things. And I've been quoting Anchorman for 21 years. So this is a real treat for me.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Yes,
well,
thank
we're
you.
so happy to have you on for so many reasons, because I think that you've really, we'll get into it, but I think that you've really set an example. And I think that you've really also called out a really terrible truth about what reality stars have to deal with, probably more than most other celebrities. And that's not easy and that's not fair. And so we'll get to that in a moment, because we love to start each podcast with a guest by asking this question that Christina asked. And I think it's just such a beautiful insight into somebody and who they are and where they came from. So I'll pass it to you.
Okay. So I always ask this question, and if you've been listening to us, you know this is kind of how we started off, because it's something I want to see. I want you to describe something to me where I can now see it. If you could look down on little Kaitlyn's shoes, what did they look like? What was a music that made you stop in your tracks? What was something you were watching? What were your parents like? What did the house smell like? Can you just bring me to 8-year-old, 10-year-old Kaitlyn? Because I love that so much, because I know what my shoes look like. And what I was thinking about when I looked at my shoes. So,
yes, I often do this because I do so much inner child therapy that I feel I could tell you about my 8-year-old self, my 9-year-old, whatever age you want me to hit, I can go there.
Okay, let's do 9 3/4.
Okay, got it. So I would say I came from a very, very small town in Alberta, Canada. And it was one of those towns that I always joke, you drive through on a road trip and you kind of go, oh, somebody lives here. It's not glamorous. It's not pretty. I feel like I really had to use my imagination. And my mom was this theater kid, and she grew up doing ballet. She was a professional ballerina. She then really taught my sister and I musical theater. So now if I'm looking down at my shoes, for some reason I saw tap shoes. My mom taught me tap all growing up, and we would put on performances for her and my dad every single night to the song I'm Walking on Sunshine. And we would put on matching skirts and do our hair matching, and we would come up with routines, and my mom would sit on the couch and count us in and give us a 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'd perform for everybody. And it was just looking back, I know a lot of people would think this about their childhood, but it was just such a simple time. And I really do, although, my parents were going through a separation around that time, but they still made the household a very happy place. And we would read books on divorce, but my parents would do sticky notes and cut it out and put separation instead of divorce, so that we knew they were going to work on things. And we had a very, very open, loving family. And we'd have family meetings about our feelings if anything was going on in the house. We would throw parades, we would cook, we would dance, and that's my favorite memories.
Is this what happens in Canada? Because it doesn't happen here like that. Is that how it goes in Canada?
Is this why Canadians are
so nice? Because here there'd be no sticky note with separation on it. It'd be your dad's a piece of shit and whatever. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I digress.
It's true.
Yeah,
No.
it's true. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I don't know if that's definitely just my
Canadian.
family. I know it might be Canadian too, because I do have a few friends who we share similar experiences in that department. But I do feel very grateful for it, because as much as, you know, I still have these old beliefs that were set from a childhood, my memories of being around that age, although my family was going through something tricky and hard and heavy, it felt very loving and light in the family, in the house. So my parents still get along, and they've been divorced for years. My mom was actually just at the passport office. She needed, you know, because she married my stepdad, so she has a different name, and then she had to reach out to my dad for the divorce papers. He's like, coming your way. Like they're friends. It's amazing. I feel very lucky for that.
That's really nice.
That is really wonderful. And I think it really makes a lot of sense hearing that. And I mean, I don't know you, but I feel like I do in some ways, of you just being like, hearing you're growing up in an environment where you can be very open. But I can imagine stepping into the spotlight, and I'd love to hear how you found your way on to The Bachelor and into that whole world. But I can imagine like that type of stuff like would start to shut you down. Or did that happen before, where you sort of had to do the work that we're kind of, you know, talking about?
Well, I think because like I just painted a really pretty picture, but I also look back and I remember going through, like I would at school, it was one of my favorite teachers in the whole world, who she still means everything to me. And she would say, you know, if you're having any really like hard feelings, you can write them in the side of your journal in school. And if you want me to see them, I'll look. If you don't want me to read them, just say private, please. But obviously she's reading them. And that's where my trust issues started. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, I was like, I remember feeling, we didn't know the word anxiety, I don't think, when I was, you know, in that third grade, I believe. But I remember I would always convince myself I wasn't feeling well, because I think I didn't know how to navigate my feelings of feeling the anxiety of what separation with my parents looked like, because they were happy and we had love. And I did experience a tremendous amount of anxiety. But I think because my parents encouraged to talk about feelings, like I never felt isolated in those feelings. I just didn't know how to articulate them. I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling. I just constantly thought I was sick. So I feel like from a young age, I was always supported in my feelings and able to talk about them. And I was always just like, I was always a spicy firecracker at home. Like I would sing "Oh Canada" before dinner just so I could have a performance, and I would tell jokes, and like I was always so open. And my sister told I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this stuff, but my sister would tell my dad like, Kaitlyn got her nipple pierced while I was like 17 years old. And my dad would be like, oh God, like these are while my parents were like divorced, but we'd all still have family dinners together. So I just feel like I'm really lucky for the environment that I grew up in and the support that I had for just being who I authentically am. I didn't ever need to try and be someone else.
Which is just why you were so beautiful on the TV. Do you know what I mean? Because it was such a breath of fresh air to see somebody be so authentic.
Yeah, I didn't know any different. I remember getting so much backlash after the show, and I was so confused by it, because I was like, wait, why would somebody hate somebody else for just doing what's best for them or being true to themselves? I was like, you know, which is also so Canadian. You grow up with all the love and support and kindness in the world, and then you get chewed up and spat out into reality television, and you're like, wait, what? I thought everybody loves everybody. It was a burst in the bubble.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I mean, like in our world too, you know, people go, well, you should expect it because you're putting yourself out there. Right. But also we're putting ourselves out there as somebody else too. So it's like, fuck off. And we don't really listen to it. This is like personal attacks on your person, on your character. And I couldn't, I don't know if I could handle that, to be honest with you.
Well, you are one of the strongest women I've ever seen in my life. So I believe you could handle it. But I think I go through phases where at first I was in a really dark place after it. And then I started to find humor in it. And then I started to feel sorry for other people who spewed hate like that. And I just go through a bunch of emotions. Well, I think that's just me in a nutshell. It's like I feel 10 different emotions in 1 hour. And it's exhausting.
That's very healthy though. You take yourself through the ride. But like Christina said, I think reality stars, you are you are setting yourself up for such harsh judgment. And I don't know if you just recently posted this, but I just saw where you showed footage of when you were the Bachelorette of Chris Harrison on air reading mean tweets about you. And they're just not mean. They are brutal. And coming from other women, like calling you a whore, a slut. First of all, the fact that, look, I've worked for ABC. I love them, but they would put that on television, but also make you sit there and listen to it. What sort of example they were trying to set, what sort of story they were trying to tell. The fact that you had to deal with that at the beginning of your career, was that damaging, or do you think it really sort of helped set you up and build the thick skin that you were learning you were going to need to have in this industry?
I think both. Because I mean, to receive, like, I remember one lady would not calm down. She sent me so many death threats saying that, like, I should die in a dumpster and that I'm worthless. And she just, like, doubled down on that so many times. And I just was so shocked beyond belief that I honestly, like, went into fight or flight mode. Like, I just sat there and was like, I'm scared. Like, this woman is scaring me. And, but also from seeing, part of me found a lot of these comments just diabolical, but also like I was like, these people aren't well. And that's kind of what scares me, because it's like one thing if there's just like, maybe it was a girl from high school that I didn't get along with and she's made a, fake account and she's coming after me. But when I see like a profile picture and this woman has a Bible verse and she's like got a family and they usually do this kind of hate, they usually do. And I'm just like, I'm concerned for like your children, for the example that you're setting. And it gave me thick skin, because it still happens to this day. I could pull up my DMs right now and I'll have someone say something nasty to me. So I definitely feel like I've almost gotten used to it. But at the same time, it definitely hurt. I was in a very, like I think I said on the post, I was emotionally unstable at the time because of what I had just went through on this show. And I didn't expect it. I didn't have any knowledge about television, about reality TV. And so I'm just trying to like hold a TV show while dealing with real emotions and not getting sleep and drinking too much alcohol. And I'm a complete mess while getting absolutely annihilated online.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had this, that happened to me when I came out with my diagnosis. One lady was pretty relentless on my comments, and I never look at comments, but if I hadn't looked at comments, I wouldn't have made some incredible friends who have MS as well, like that community. But this woman was like vicious against me and saying that I had the worst plastic surgery. First of all, I've never had plastic surgery, obviously. And I tried to say to her, like, obviously, look at me. I have never had plastic surgery. And then she just said horrible things. And I looked her up, and she was a fucking nurse, man. She was a nurse.
No way.
In an ER department. And you know what? She was fugly as shit. So don't even
of course she was.
Even come at me, you fugly nurse. I wanted to put her picture out and be like, if you ever at this hospital, not this lady, don't get treated by this fugly nurse.
You should have. I'm like all about.
But I'm also like sad. I was like, no, what if she has kids and
Yeah, but they deserve to be called out. Like, that type of behavior.
Kids. Sorry.
No, but that type of behavior, it's inexcusable. It's the bottom of the barrel. It's the lowest of the low. And I think that unfortunately, it's not going to go away. But now we have names for them, right? Now they're trolls. Now they're online bullies. Yep. There is some evolution in that. But like the fact that you have to settle or become comfortable with this, like you said you have, really sucks.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, to keep it all together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. Listen, it's okay to struggle, right? Real strength comes from opening up like we're trying to do here, and opening up about what you're carrying, and not only just opening up, but then doing something about it so you can be at your best self for everyone in your life. That's why we love to talk about the benefit of therapy, and we love to talk about BetterHelp. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works. With an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client reviews. It's convenient too, by the way. You can join a session with a therapist literally at the click of a button. It helps you fit therapy into your busy life. And plus, if you're not vibing with your therapist, you can switch at any time for no cost. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/messy. That's betterhelp.com/messy.
You have really been incredibly generous, between your podcasts, on social media, of what you're going through. And I think that that's beautiful, because what you do, and what I think we're trying to do here, is, release a stigma, develop community of just, and make people feel safe with being vulnerable. Life's not perfect. It's really fucking messy. It's really fucking hard. We don't always make the right choices, but truthfully, I believe no choices are wrong choices. They always get you to where you're needing to go. And I wish more people could acknowledge your vulnerability and generosity with that than come at you, because I think Christina and I are buffered by MS, right? I think that us sharing our vulnerability, it is rewarded as brave, and it's welcomed because it revolves around a physical disease that we're dealing with, which is very difficult. But that's not to take away from the other things that you're experiencing that you are being so, generous to share.
Well, that's my therapist always tells me to not compare traumas, because, she calls it like little T trauma or big T trauma. And we're all going through different things. But at the end of the day, like you don't know a bigger trauma until you experience it. So what you're dealing with feels big, and until you deal with something bigger. And I just always I think what I've learned is that I've been going to therapy for 11 years, and I always want to evolve into the person that I needed as a kid. And I think that way, even I want to, at 40, I'm turning 40 in 1 month, I want to be the person that my 30-year-old self needed. I always want to evolve from a perspective of loving myself and forgiving myself and continuing to show up authentically, even though people think if I cry on Instagram, it's for attention. I'm actually just doing it because I'm trying to be the person that I would have wanted to look up to on social media. I would have loved to see somebody be a little more real in the magazines, instead of, the magazines when I grew up was bashing women for having cellulite and 5-minute tricks to get a man to be obsessed with you, and all these awful messaging, where I'm like, wow, I get to curate my own media into being something that I would have wanted to see while I was younger.
Yeah.
Well, that and the body image shit that we had to go through. Jamie and I have talked about both having had eating disorders because of what we were shoved down our throats, for so many years. And this ideal of what is perfection, and that could be the perfect woman, the perfect person, whatever, the smartest one in the room, the dumbest one in the room. But all those things, people don't realize how it does hook in there, and it causes a lot of strife in a lot of people's life.
The messaging that I got growing up, because, and I love my mom to death. She's my best friend. She's probably my favorite person on the planet. But because of how she was raised as being a professional ballerina, she had passed on some serious body dysmorphia and disordered eating and a lot of things that she now, in the benefit of hindsight, can see how how awful and damaging and traumatic that can be on a child. And I've done a lot of work around that too. But same thing, I've suffered tremendously with body dysmorphia and thinking I need to look a certain way, and feeling rewarded for being that way. You know, I always had the like beer cart girl or the bartender, and then I would audition for commercials and it would be like the girl at the bar. And then I got those jobs, and then I get on The Bachelor, and then I get The Bachelorette. And I'm like, am I validating that like I need to look a certain way to be successful? And I struggle with that a lot.
We all do, sweetheart.
Well, I can tell you that's not what got you that. It's your bright, shining personality, because every girl was pretty and every girl was perfect, but you stood out for a reason. And I know you have talked publicly about going into a really deep and dark time. I think it was prior to The Bachelor, right? And when you really started therapy and you had to move home. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And like, was that your first brush with therapy at that time?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And that was the greatest gift I ever gave myself, was therapy, even though it was the last thing I wanted to do. But I grew up very like my parents just supported me almost more than they could have let me learn a couple hard lessons, you know, like they were very like, they'd fix it. If something went wrong, they fix it.
Wanted
if
to
I did this,
you.
they'd pay. Yeah, they would pay for everything, and they were just so generous and loving. And once I got to, you know, my dad paid my rent in my 20s so that I could be a part of this dance company, and I just worked at a restaurant, and I would just, you know, I just always thought and grew up thinking that I had to depend on other people to succeed. So I lived the Canadian dream. I met a hockey player. I thought, okay, financially and, you know, emotionally, this man's going to take care of me. I'm 24. I'll give up the dream of dancing and doing what I love to do because he'll take care of me. And slowly but surely, I realized I didn't believe in myself enough. I thought I needed to just live somebody else's life to be happy. And I very quickly realized, after following him from different cities to then Germany, a different country where I had no friends. I couldn't speak the language. He was always gone on the road. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't even understand people's conversation at the grocery store. I didn't even know how to read labels. I couldn't afford the nicest phone to get the Google Translate to do this. Like I lived off somebody else emotionally, financially, just depending on one person. And I really lost myself. And I started having really embarrassing like tantrums and just being like a child, almost reverting back to a child needing to be taken care of by a parent. And he just saw like, you can't do this anymore. This life is not for you. You're destined to do bigger things. And I didn't think I was capable of. And he broke up with me, and I had no job, no education, no money, no house, nowhere to live. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had to move back in with my parents, and I found myself going to a doctor and getting prescribed Valium, and then nobody telling me what Valium did to you. So I got fully addicted, and I would just use it to not feel feelings and numb myself. My mom was terrified, and I remember I would just cuddle this Care Bear that my stepdad got for me, and I can like still smell this Care Bear. I would just cry into it and then numb and then sleep and then wake up and cry and numb and sleep until I couldn't do it anymore, until my parents helped me out of that situation. And I went back to Vancouver, and I started again at the bottom of a restaurant at the age of like 27, feeling, you know, when you're 27, you think I'm almost 30. Oh no.
Yeah.
And I have to start all over. But starting all over was the best thing in the world because it like taught me resilience, and it showed me like to show up for myself. And I made new friends, and I started going to therapy, and I really picked up the pieces on my own. And that's when like, I really feel like at the age of 28 is when my actual independence started. Although I had been living by myself for 8 years, I don't know how I did it, because I finally started being like, advocate for yourself, fight for yourself, do the things, work hard, spend money on the things that matter, that are going to make you a better person. And once I started seeing the benefits of what I'd gone through and how I picked myself up and how I had the support of friends and family and just starting to believe in myself, I was like, I can do anything. And then when I went on The Bachelor, I was in like the best place I'd ever been in my life.
Wow.
Thank God.
I was going to say, do you miss dance? I miss dance.
I miss
miss
dance
it?
so much. Yes. Oh my gosh, I miss it. You miss it too?
Beyond. I mean, I can't do it anymore
It's so
because
special.
of my disease, but
yeah.
I was a dancer from the age of 3 until I got sick. I never stopped.
Are you able to watch dance? Because I even find that hard because
It's really hard for me. I have a really hard time.
I get that.
But
I get that.
I
Probably
like,
brings up grief.
Oh, I'm starting to cry just even talking about it. Like, it's really deep for me. But like, I was a judge on So You Think You Can Dance like all the time. Like, it was my favorite thing to do. And you remember? It was my favorite thing to do because
I do.
Watching those kids, man, that was like really special. And I was on Broadway and Sweet Charity, and I did all these things from that. Dance was my first love. That was what I was going to do. And to not do it anymore, like, I feel like a big, huge void. So I don't know, like, how you feel. Like, do you go to class still? Do you like?
I want to like jump through the screen and just hug you right now because I totally understand the dancing thing. It's something that, same thing, first love for me. And it's something that you're always in the moment and feeling just happy. And when you're dancing, there is no other feeling, whether you can't dance or you can. That's like one of the best ways to like, release emotion.
Well, my mom used to say when I was being an asshole or whatever, she'd be like, when was the last class you took? I'm like, last week.
Wow.
She's like, can you please go to class? And I would go to class because I did mostly lyrical. I mean, I did everything, but like my love at the end of, the run of life was lyrical dance, Doug Caldwell and all these people that I trained under and my teachers. And I would go for those 3 hours and cry or smile a lot or whatever. And I swear it would like sustain me. So I know that feeling of, it's the first language, guys. It's the first language.
Well, and it's such an embodiment of everything, your self-expression, like you said, presence, which is so hard to ever actually feel in this life, and self-expression. I mean, I was like a dancer when I was like in musical theater. I can like, I could be in a chorus line, but I would never have said like I was a dancer. But watching people dance, like, it's like that thing when you watch people that are so good at it, you like feel like you could get up and do it. Do you know what I mean? Because they make it look so effortless and easy. Was it very healing for you to start Dancing with the Stars after the turmoil that you had been through in Bachelorette?
I didn't know how much I actually needed that show for my soul.
Also, Carrie Ann Inaba and I used to dance all the time together. She and I were in class for like 30 years together. I just wanted to tell you. That's my friend.
Oh, I love that. I love Carrie Ann so much.
No, we took class together from the time I was 15, 16 till 13 or 30s. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that fun fact.
That's a little factoid.
It was so healing because when I gave up, I got a scholarship when I was 19. It's the reason I moved from my little small town to Vancouver to be a part of this dance company. And to be honest with you, I kept chasing that, but I wasn't good enough. I wasn't as good as I should have been to be on the level of where I wanted to be. And so having to quit dancing and then follow somebody else who's literally living their dream of being in the NHL, I was like, oh my gosh, like I had to give everything up and this person's living their dream. And so to then go on The Bachelor and then Bachelorette, and then I was actually stopped from going on Dancing with the Stars after I was The Bachelorette. The creator of the show had told me, actually, you're going to focus on your relationship with Sean, not dancing, because they wanted me on the show. And I was devastated. And I just felt so like, I was just so sad.
That was the person from The Bachelorette told you that?
Yeah. And
but
you think like your duty was done. You were like, I did the thing. I got the guy. Like, what? Wow.
Yeah.
Are you still, I don't know if you can talk about this. Are you like still contracted with them post show to like?
I have a lifelong NDA, but I don't have a contract. So,
got it.
But I mean, this information is definitely out there because I have talked about it before. How I was like, he let all his like the Bachelor guys do Dancing with the Stars, but there's something about women. He kept stopping them. He didn't want them to have fame.
So stupid. It's the same. It's the same network. It's the right. It's
same network.
Support for Messy comes from Magic Spoon. One of the best parts about my childhood was my cereal. my bowls of cereal, those bright, colorful, magical boxes that promised a delicious taste. Well, now we have Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon makes high protein, zero sugar cereals and treats that reinvent all that nostalgia from our childhood. Every serving of Magic Spoon high protein cereal, by the way, has 13 grams of protein. We're always trying to figure out how to get more protein in our diet. Well, here you go. 0 grams of sugar and 4 grams of net carbs. And they come in all the nostalgic flavors that we love, like fruity, cocoa, and frosted. Their high protein treats, by the way, are also crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get, like I said, that protein, 12 grams of it on the go. And they come in mouth-watering flavors like marshmallow, chocolate peanut butter, and dark chocolate. Both are great on the go, pre or post workout, a midnight snack. Even my kids love them. So get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/messy, or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/messy for $5 off. Support comes from Go Pure. All right, it's happening. They've warned us for years. Pay attention to the skin on your neck. And I didn't. I just worried about my face. And now I'm dealing with some crepiness and some loose skin, but not anymore, because now I have the Tighten and Lift Neck Cream that I have received from Go Pure, and I am amazed at how soft and hydrated my skin on my neck has felt literally after one use. Listen, like I said, we spend so much time caring for the skin on our face, but we have to pay attention to our neck. Our necks are, out in the sun, full swing here. Neck and chest exposed all day, whether you're rocking sundresses or swimsuits or strappy tops. Our necks are out there for the world to see. And that is why Go Pure Beauty created their revolutionary Tighten and Lift Neck Cream. I can promise you guys, this stuff works. It is perfect for your summer skincare routine. And I'm telling you, in as little as 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to start to see some visibly firmer, smoother, and rejuvenated skin on that delicate area of your neck and chest. All Go Pure products, by the way, are cruelty-free, they're paraben-free, they're sulfate-free, so you know you're giving your skin clean, effective care without the harsh chemicals or compromises. Go Pure isn't just about transforming the skin on your neck, okay? They have a full line of science-backed skin and body care to tighten, lift, smooth from head to toe. From powerful targeted body creams to deeply hydrated retinol moisturizers, every product is packed with clean, effective ingredients that deliver real results. With over 1 million jars sold, this beauty secret is no longer a secret. And for a limited time, our listeners get 25% off Go Pure with code MESSY at checkout. Just head to gopurebeauty.com, use code MESSY, and you're all set. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask where you heard about Go Pure, tell them it was from our show.
Okay, so tell me more about, because I get very excited. I want to hear about you going on the show because there's this nerd in me who kind of wanted to do it at some point, but then I was like,
yes.
No, Carrie Ann and I are too close. That wouldn't work. But go, I want to hear.
Well, Artem was my partner, and Carrie Ann and Artem dated for a minute. So, I mean, I feel like they do a good job of separating and compartmentalizing. But I was like, I'd never done ballroom, but to just be in a studio again and to just be smelling the studio floor and hearing the beats and the counting ins and everything. I was just like, oh my gosh, I did not know how much I've missed this. And it felt like I was a dancer again, where we were saying, it was hard for me to watch So You Think You Could Dance. It was hard for me to watch Dancing with the Stars because I was grieving dancing. And so to be on Dancing with the Stars, I felt so honored that I was working through cracked ribs and a pulled muscle and tendonitis in both ankles. And I didn't care. I just was like, put me out every day. I'll work as hard as I can. And when I won, it just felt like such a full circle moment because I was like, that little 25-year-old me needed that. And I was like, holy crap, 10 years later, I'm like, I can dance.
I need to watch your season. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. And I'm usually pretty good at watching it, but I did take some time off a few years ago from anything, watching anything.
Yeah.
Because I was really snooty and reading books. Kidding. I was not reading any fucking books. I just wasn't watching it. I don't know. I wasn't doing it.
I feel like you always see everybody that ever does that show talks about how it was like one of the most wonderful things that they've ever experienced. Yes, it was difficult, but it feels like across the board, everybody feels such immense gratitude for that experience.
100%, especially because after going through the Bachelor, Bachelorette kind of show, where I definitely felt like some manipulation and didn't know who was my friend and who wasn't, and I felt very isolated and alone. Dancing with the Stars feels like one big family and everybody's cheering each other on and supporting one another. And I'm so competitive, and I still found myself rooting for everyone else that I was competing against because I knew the hard work that they were putting in every single day, just as I was. And it's just a feel-good show.
It is. It really is. And they do such a beautiful job of like really honoring everybody's story and everybody's journey. Yeah. And obviously everybody's skill level is not the same, but it's not about that, right? It's about everybody's growth throughout it all. And I mean, there's a reason it's been on the air for 875 years. You know what I mean? Like everybody loves it.
Carrie Ann must have some bank. And it's funny. So I think about that. I'm like, Carrie Ann.
Quiet luxury.
She came over with our teacher, Alexander Magno, like not long after I was diagnosed with MS. And we literally put on music in my bedroom and just improv'd like lyrical dance.
You sent me those videos.
I know.
And I bawled watching them because I just seeing you and her honoring like where you were with your body, and like she would move with the limitation that you had. Do you know what I mean? It felt like there's something that dancers have. You guys speak another language, you feel on a different frequency, and it was one of the most moving things I've ever.
Sorry, this is an interview about me.
No, this is like
Kaitlyn. Let's just talk about me and Carrie Ann and Abba for the next half an hour.
No, as like fans of you both, this is really special for me to hear all stories.
No. So when did you start to feel safe enough, or was there something that happened where you were like, fuck it, where you were just gonna was it when you started your podcast? Was it after your first public breakup where you were like, I'm just gonna be real and lay it all out there? Because I'm sure there were, parameters in which you could share for a long time. When did that start to feel like it was something that was safe that you could do, or was it just kind of like you had enough?
I actually got in trouble all the time because, again, I don't understand this world of NDAs and contracts. And I kept saying things and they're like, you can't say that. And I was like, wait, why? Like I didn't understand not being able to speak my truth. And so I got myself in trouble a lot of times. But when it's kind of like, so when I came off the show, and I think I was like feeling like I was treated differently, not only just as a woman, but as a human being. I just felt like I was being treated differently. And I had a moment where I realized that social media is my platform and it's my voice. And I was able to share, like, Instagram just kind of became a real thing in 2015 where you could monetize or like, use it as a platform for something. And so I remember having Snapchat and I was like, how cool, because to everybody that watches The Bachelorette, I'm a one-dimensional character. You see, I mean, it's a little different for The Bachelorette. Not so much the contestants are more one-dimensional. You see a couple different sides of me. But I was like, I get to have my voice on Snapchat and tell people like what really happened. And at the time, I don't think social media stuff was in my contract, so I could do that. But I started really feeling a sense of community with Bachelor Nation and people watching and seeing like how much the audience craved more of a real, raw personality than a buttoned up, all-American sweetheart. And I just thought that was so cool to feel that sense of community through social media. So that's when I just started being a little more real and honest and vulnerable because I could. And again, I was like, okay, well, a podcast, like I always saw myself doing radio and podcasting. Nobody really had one. Well, some people, but this was like 8 years ago.
No, it wasn't a thing.
And so I was like,
what it is now.
Right.
Then,
I was like, what an interesting time to get into this where it's kind of like my own radio show. And
you have a very nice voice, by the way, Kaitlyn. You have a very nice voice.
Really?
Now, I have a fat-tongued, weird, always has sinusitis, slurry face.
And I have a whiny, like New York, Long Island Jew voice. But whatever. We
make it work. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. You
have a very nice voice.
You guys are so. That's really nice. That's a very nice compliment because I truly fell asleep to both of your voices so often. I was obsessed with that show. Anyways, so I was like, what was great about podcasting was it's people who really love you that want to hear you talk for 45 minutes. It's not haters coming on. If they are, they're really secret fans because they're tuning in for a good chunk of time to hear what you have to say. And that's when I really felt I'll overuse the word community all the time because it's my favorite thing about having a platform. It was just all people who could relate to things, like no matter what I was talking about, there's a group of women who could relate to it. I feel like that's why your podcast is so relatable and so great and does so well because it's things that people need to feel and hear and see so they don't feel so alone. And I just think it was such a powerful time to get into podcasting, but also to keep using my voice.
Were there ever any times where you were hesitant to share? Were you or afraid to share? Or did you really fully lean into like, I've got this community and I know that I have my people that will hold me in this moment?
Yeah, I fully leaned in. I feel like I surrendered to the whole process of having a podcast and social media and just saying how I felt. And again, I've said this a million times, it gets me in trouble all the time because I learn about intention versus impact with my intentions always so like pure. And I want to like speak my truth. And I don't mean to impact people in a negative way, but sometimes I do because I'm sharing too much of the truth and it's just hard.
Yeah, but you know what? That's just part of it because then you still have your platform to be like, whoops, I didn't realize this. I'm sorry. Yeah. And like, sometimes I wish, like, I look at like, you hear about the, celebrities being called out for this or that. And part of me, I was like, why aren't they just fucking getting on Instagram and being like, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Because everyone would be like, it's okay. Like, why does it always have to be like a crafted statement that clearly, somebody else wrote for you? And so bravo to you keep making mistakes. Because my friend Ryan always tells me, because he used to tell me this when it came to parenting, but I think it can relate to anything where like, it's actually never about the rip. It's about the repair because that then gives my kids the permission to know that they are gonna fuck up in life. And like, there's a way out. And humility and responsibility and connection through it is something that's like, actually very fulfilling. It's like it's to me like it's actually a really beautiful thing to just be like, I'm sorry. And like the love and connection that comes from that. And I think that the way that you do that on such a big scale, like I'm not hoping that you continually get in trouble and fuck up, but like bravo on you for
but
like.
But if I do.
But if you do, it's okay,
Yeah, I think accountability is something that I've definitely learned through therapy and something that I really struggled with in, the selfish days of my 20s and even into my early 30s. And now I see how powerful accountability can be because again, like you said to kids, like my girlfriends who all are parents, they say the same thing. Like they're like, I'm willing to apologize to my child and say I fucked up and I made this mistake. And like, that's okay too. I do think taking responsibility, I think is important.
Absolutely. I also want to talk about something that you recently posted about that I was like, thank you. I feel so seen is hormones. Like,
oh God.
I'm currently on like my week before my period, and I have 2 little boys, and I'm teaching. I know she doesn't get it anymore, so she's like.
I've been in menopause since 2017, so have fun.
Oh Lord,
so maybe
the rage.
Sorry, yeah.
The like unprovoked rage that I feel at times, and like out of bodiness and frustration that I feel is so intense and so real. And I'm so grateful that women are talking about it, because it can be very overwhelming. And it's like each month it's like, oh, you forget. Like you forget. And then I'll like sit on my toilet and be like, I'll look down and be like, oh, thank God. I don't need to be admitted. You know?
No, I have definitely ruined relationships over PMS, and I didn't know how badly it was until like I would go into a very, very, very dark place, and I went on a medication actually for depression and anxiety, because it helps me so much in the week before my period to like regulate my emotions. Now, not totally. I still feel the rage if somebody even breathes near me. I'm like, did you have to breathe? I definitely like I'm a highly irritable person in those times, but it's bananas that as women, we have to go through like even menopause and the perimenopause and the periods and the clockwork of emotions. Like a man's cycle is 24 hours in a day, where a woman's is 28 days. Like we feel something different. There's literally 5 days of every month where I kind of feel normal. And I'm like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, now we're ovulating.
There's 5 days a month that I like my body. I feel normal. Yep. All the rest of them is just a shit show. But I'll like think back to like my childhood, and there's like a decade of my childhood where I was like, my mom is fucking nuts. My mom is mean. She's this, she's that. And now I'm like looking back and I'm like, oh my God, like she was in perimenopause. She was in menopause, but like everything was so secretive then. You didn't talk about anything. You didn't, everything was like, never tell anybody that, you're struggling. Everything happened behind closed doors. So I'm so grateful for people like you that are out there openly talking about this, because it's like, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, there's things you can do to help.
Right.
But understanding that this is part of it.
Can I say this before you even talk? Because I'm the menopausal of the group and have been for so long. HRT. Just get it going.
What's HRT?
Hormone replacement therapy. So
I just started testosterone.
Okay. So I'm on both estrogen and testosterone. This is not, you don't need to know about this yet. You're not there yet. But I still have my uterus.
I am there though.
No, you're going to be 40. You're going to be 40. I'm talking about menopause. I'm talking about, when you get there, don't deny it. Just do it. Because I remember waking up out of my surgery because I had my ovaries and my fallopian tubes removed. And I was so fucking angry at like the world. Just like immediately I was flop sweating and wanted to kill everyone. And they're like, okay, we're going to get you on this stuff. And within a week I regulated. And I swear, like, despite every shit that I've been through, the one thing I don't get is like ragey. I don't get ragey. So I don't know. I'm just pushing drugs on you.
That'd be nice to take off the table.
Well, I have an appointment. I have an appointment on the 29th for a hormone specialist, and I have a hormone specialist coming on my podcast. And I also saw that on my panel, like my testosterone is so low, but I have PCOS. So I'm like, I'm dealing with like male pattern hair growth over here while having low testosterone. Like it's all, I'm like, when does it end? It doesn't.
I know. I started testosterone like a month ago. I'm definitely feeling some benefits, but I'm already hairy and like now I'm having to take my mustache off like fucking every other day.
Wait till your hair starts falling out everywhere and your pubes turn white. I want you guys to just, it's going to come. Just want to tell you guys.
Okay. I'll prepare.
I like to call them elderly blonde.
We both took like a deep breath. Okay.
Elderly blonde. That's what.
Elderly blonde is what I'm going to start.
I like that.
I just colored my elderly blondes.
That's another podcast you can have.
I'm a dolphin because I do laser hair removal, but I'm like still I can't get rid of it on the face because of my PCOS.
Same. The face keeps coming back. I know.
Yeah, I feel that it's embarrassing.
Make me a baby dolphin everywhere. Have you been in therapy? Do you hop in and out of therapy? Is therapy something that's essential for you? Like, what are the things that you turn to that is, to me, the true self-care? How do you take care of your emotional wellness?
I know. Don't you love when you ask about self-care and somebody gets into their skincare routine and you're like, no.
Yeah. You can tell me that later, though.
Well, yeah,
you have really,
because your skin is like,
it's glowing, right, James?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of,
yeah.
like I look like a haggard old, like, the word I used earlier. And this like golden glowy goddess is sitting there. I can't.
Yeah.
But I also have like 8 ring lights on me and a lot of skincare. So it's
whatever it is,
it's working, because this is just
thank you. I think you're both beautiful. I have done every kind of therapy. Have you ever heard of Hoffman in California?
Yeah.
So
did you do Hoffman?
I did Hoffman.
Wow.
Yes. And it was one of the hardest, but most like I came out of that being like, I want to live on this vibration at all times. I never want to look at my phone again, because, it's a digital detox. You're really diving into your inner child work and a lot of therapy, like 16 hours a day. And, it was like, I left and I went to Hawaii by myself, and I just was like, I honest to God would like pray to see a whale, and then like 3 seconds later, a whale would just like breach and like do just show off. And then I started asking
like
for signs, and they're like, yeah, I was like,
wild.
This is where I want to live. Yeah. And so I've done all sorts of therapy.
It's beautiful for you to know that's possible. I lived at an ashram in India for 12 days once, and similarly came back. Could barely look at my phone, but I felt like I was like floating above life. And it's beautiful, but I don't know about you. I had like a kind of a struggle though, like integrating it back.
The transition?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I called it being an awareness transition hell, because I was so aware of all my patterns, and then I was aware of other people in my life's patterns, and then I started becoming the pattern police, where I'd like point it out in someone and be like, you got to work on that. And it was so overwhelming. And then the phone comes back, and it's like so hard to keep up that kind of work. But that's why I do talk therapy, but I also do EMDR, and I just started somatic therapy. So I'm like, I'm doing it all.
I'm right there with you. I just left my EMDR yesterday, and I do think there's so many beautiful modalities and ways for us to take care of ourselves now. And I just love that people are finally willing to talk about it and not feel ashamed of it. And, again, you do that so beautifully for so many. You probably don't even know how many people you are helping and giving the permission to accept things about themselves that aren't flaws. They're just part of being human,
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed that I don't go to therapy. I don't know if you noticed.
Do you not?
No, not right now. I should be.
Okay.
I'm like the one person on the fucking planet who needs to be in therapy right now.
Well, you know who we can call?
You have community.
BetterHelp. Is
That's
that one of your
right.
sponsors too?
Same.
This episode,
read that ad later.
This episode is probably sponsored by BetterHelp right now.
Yeah, get on your phone and get some BetterHelp.
Exactly. All right. Well, we don't want to take up any more of your time, Kaitlyn. Like, you did not disappoint. Again, I've just been such a fan of you. And, Becca from the Lady Gang is one of my very best friends. And she's said such great things about you. And it's just really been such a pleasure. I really hope to meet you one day. I just love everything about you, and keep being you unapologetically and putting out everything you do into the world. It's really, I have no doubt, making a difference.
Listen to this girl's podcast, man. Off the Vine.
That's right, Off the Vine. And
women supporting women on the line.
On the line.
Yes.
Look at her go. I don't know if you know, Christina has this really beautiful superpower. She doesn't like when I say that because it feels pressure, but it just never disappoints. All I'm going to ask you to do is say 5 of your favorite movies. They don't have to be like the favorite 5. Like, don't feel pressure about like, oh my God, but this one, like just the 5 that come off your chest of like movies that you would comfort movies that you always watch if they're on. And then she's going to kind of take a moment, meditate on it, and tell you a little bit about yourself.
So don't think about them.
I'm so excited.
This is my party trick. I've been doing this for a long time.
Okay, I'll give you my 5 favorite.
Okay, go.
Okay.
One is Pay It Forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my other one, and I'm not just saying this, is Anchorman. I saw it 8 times in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
8 times in the theater, and my friends know I still quote it to this day.
Got it.
I really loved Serendipity with Kate. What's her? Yeah, okay.
And the dude. Yeah, I know.
Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a random one, but I will never not watch it. Is it's a tie. Oh, what do I do? Let's go with.
You can give me 6. You can give me 6 if you want to.
Okay. Then Dumb and Dumber. And Scary Movie 3.
I love this. I love it.
I don't even know if I can work with these, but
You need a minute?
I'm going to need a couple minutes, please. You guys talk about things.
I need to tell you something. So when I was reading the article about when you moved back home and the Care Bear, I had that same Care Bear, Wish Bear, the pink one, my entire childhood. And that Care Bear has been with me through my whole life and now lives in my littlest son's room. And I gave it to him in a moment where my little guy, he's only 7, but from 2 to 5, he really struggled emotionally. Like it was like big outbursts and big feelings. And I gave that to him to hug, to calm down. And that's his little anchor. And so when I saw that, it just it made me tear up and made me feel like I get it. Because I had literally the same Care Bear from my entire life since the 80s that lives with my son.
Wait, that's actually pretty crazy and beautiful and special. Wow. That's such a God wink, I feel like.
Yeah, totally. I totally get it. And I love the idea of physical anchors. Look, I have this.
Me too.
My friend Ryan that what is she? Oh, there's hers, her heating pad. That's her anchor.
Oh.
His name is Jake.
I thought you were okay.
No, his name is Jake Ryan from 16 Candles. And I snuggle him every night.
Show her the pillow behind you that I got you.
Yeah, but it doesn't say the right thing, Jamie.
I know. I tried to write Jake on it. It was the closest I can find.
Oh, cute. That's cute. Wait, who's this Ryan guy and how do I get him to be my friend?
You need to watch 16
Jake
Candles.
Ryan? 16 Candles.
Well, Jamie keeps bringing up her friend Ryan. And so I was like,
I literally was just talking about my friend Ryan. My friend Ryan, he came into my life where I was at the deepest, darkest, literally the lowest low, at least at that point in my life that I had ever been.
Yeah.
I was single. I was 30. I was scared. He opened my eyes to what God could really mean and to understand more about the universe and that we're all actually very loved and supported and not being punished constantly. And he gave me this to hold in my hand to remind me of the love that he taught me about. And I literally hold it every time I podcast the entire time because it was my anchor.
Wow.
So I get that and feel that so deeply and think they're so important to have in life, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready-ish.
Oh, she's got it.
Okay.
She's got it.
No, I don't.
Here.
I don't have it. This is going to be terrible. But this is. I always just go with the first thing that pops into my head, and what pops into my head by looking at this is that you're waiting for resolution in your life. You want everything to be wrapped into a bow, and the problem is it's never going to be, because if it does, then we end. Then we end learning, and I think that you just want that resolution, that feeling of fin, in France, in French for a movie, fin, it's done, but it's not going to be done because you have so much more to do.
What the hell? That is your superpower. My eyes are watering.
No.
What? Wait, how did you get that from those movies?
Pretty incredible, huh?
There's a theme, and you can kind of tell. You just do. I can just kind of tell.
Well, you've got so much more to do and enjoy the ride.
I do.
You know?
And I need to practice more of what I preach, because I always tell people, like, there's no arrival date to healing. You're not going to get to a day and go, okay, I've arrived. I'm healed. I've got it all tied up.
Can't wait to be happy. Can't wait to be completely happy.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I'm like, I preach it, but then I'm like, I do search for resolution. Wow. You just changed my life.
Yeah. You're waiting for that, little lady.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Now, the last thing we do before I let you go is I pick a card. It's this random card of like quotes that I have on my desk. I never know what it's going to be, but usually it can feel powerful and pertain. So let's hope it does this time. Okay.
Well, we're all very aligned right now. I feel like this is going to be good.
We are. Let's see. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin up to his nest again, I shall not live in vain. I think that pertains to what you're doing.
Yeah.
With your life.
We don't pick these like before you come on, by the way.
Yeah. No, I believe you.
It's just her little magic hands. She does her magic hands, and the spirit, the universe.
When you get women specifically in one area that do feel like aligned and they believe in the same thing and they want to talk about the same things, it all just, it's just, we're on the same vibration.
It's why they burned us at the stakes back long
Yeah.
ago. They were scared of the power.
Absolutely.
You know it.
Witches for life.
All right, Kaitlyn, you're so wonderful.
We
Thank
love you. We could have talked to you
so
all
much.
day.
We love
both.
you. Yes.
I honestly adore you both so much. Love you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It really means a lot to me.
It means a lot to us. Too.
Right back at you. And
so it is. This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.